Greetings again, Mark and Eric. So you guys at around 1601 are saying, like, how could God be so mean and let us suffer? And, um, because everything should be idyllic. I mean, that's what I'm extrapolating, that if there was a good God, he wouldn't ever let any bad things happen, or he would only let certain bad things happen. So there's a lot of things that can be said. And Eric was saying that Christians, so-called Christians, were telling you that it's a dichotomy, that you have to experience bad to know good. Those are philosophical Christians. Those are not mature, experienced Christians, in my opinion. And I am no expert. I'm a fairly new Christian, but I just wanted to say that, Eric, that I think you just don't have a substantial enough base, to operate from, to speak with any authority about Christianity, other than how ignorant you are. And I say this with no offense. It's just like, I'm ignorant about flat Earth. I'm totally just kind of trying to get a little bit of a grasp on it. I'm not hurt if you say I'm ignorant about flat Earth, because I am. But I'm trying to learn. And so hopefully, I don't know if you're going to make it this far, but so, I was talking about this before, about like in the previous video, I think it was. So if you're making a cake for you, are you going to let other people complain that, if you want a vanilla cake or a chocolate cake or a coffee cake or a strawberry cake, are you going to let the creatures that you create say, "Oh, that's the wrong cake. You got to make my cake. I want a tiramisu cake, God. The way you make cake for yourself, God, is not right. I'm your little creator. I'm your little, little human, and you got to do it my way, God." Like, is that right? Does that make sense? If you were, had a garden full of little sprouts, and one sprout demanded that you take care and do everything that they want, even though you have 200 other sprouts or 200,000 other sprouts, is that right? Is that what you want to do? So, and it's not about like one, the benefit of the majority outweigh the benefit of the few. What I'm saying is, the creator has the authority. The creator has the right to do things his way. And in the book of Job, which, as I understand it, is the first book of the Bible, um, people around Job are like, "God's bad. You guys are totally being like the people Job was talking to." Um, but the people around Job was like, "You should curse God because he's betraying you," and or this, that, and the other thing. And at one point, God says, "Were you there at the beginning when I created the world? Were you there when I did this and this and this?" So, like, when you, Eric or Mark, when you create a world and you create a human being and you create all the animals in the sky and the moon and the sun, then you get to choose. Then you get to change things or whatever. But you haven't. No one else will. There's only one God. There's only one prime creator. And he has not made a mistake. He is not sleeping on the job in a hammock, carelessly watching you guys suffer. There are angels watching over every second of every moment of your life, recording what you are doing. There's going to be a detailed account of your life given to God. And hopefully you come to the knowledge of the truth of Jesus, so that you don't have to face God, so that you accept that redeeming coupon, that plane ticket that Jesus gave you. Hopefully you've accepted that ticket. Accept the ticket, because if you don't, you're going to get to be with Satan, and that's not a good place, and it's forever. But yeah, stop with this dichotomy nonsense, Eric. God is much more complex, and there's just spiritual immaturity and in kind of your guys' approaches, thinking that God is this cookie cutter God, this little child story fairy tale kind of a God. God is not a fairy tale. God is very wise. He's eternal, and he's got a plan. He's worked everything out perfectly, and it's not how we want it, but we're fallen people. We are messed up people. We have shortcomings. We have limitations, and we are here, but for the grace of God. Um, so this isn't to put anybody down, but perhaps to put people in the proper place. Like, you cannot dictate what God should be doing. You have no right to judge God. Um, and of course, you're going through a process and whatnot. So there's no crime in, like, crying out. But definitely you gotta keep searching. You can't just like rest, oh well, God's just messed up. You can't just leave it at that. So let's see what happens next.